Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Which is the Moon. I'm your Friday hostess, Natalie. This week's topic is connecting with your spirit guides. Now, I know that you guys have gotten a breadth of wonderful information this week on this topic, and so my video is probably not going to be very long. This is an area that when I first started on this path, I had a lot of difficulty with because I don't really know why. I just had a lot of difficulty connecting with those who were guiding me spiritually. I've always felt pulls in certain directions or voices. I've always been attracted to certain things. And I understand now that that was probably communication coming from spirit guiding me towards the path that I was ultimately to end up on, which is this path, obviously. However, I'm not one of those people that have ever had a really deep profound spiritual experience with my spirit guides where I had some, meditation and this person appeared before me and, or what appeared to be a person or animal or whatever. I do notice things that I did not ever notice before. For example, I have started paying closer attention to subtle things that bring messages to me. For example, I just said for example, everywhere I go, I see ravens and crows. Never really noticed them before. Grackles, also corvids. Okay, birds that are related to my goddess that I work with. And whenever I see that, it always seems to occur, especially at a time where I feel particularly alone. And it might be just one solitary one in a tree somewhere, one flying over my car, always there. So I know that I'm not alone. And I think that would be part of my communication with my spirit guides. Another thing that I have noticed is that I wake up, or I tend to look at the clock exactly at 4:44, both in the afternoon and in the morning. I wake up out of a very deep, profound sleep at 4:44 on the dot. It has been happening to me nearly every day for almost a year. So I know that there must be some message connected to that. When I've done a little bit of digging and research, it's simply a statement. I find things that say, your guide is telling you that you're not alone, that you can get through this, because I have been going through a lot of very difficult times lately. It just seems like nothing ever works out well for me, especially of late. And so it's been a bit frustrating. How can you connect with your spirit guide in other ways just than paying attention to small signs? One of the things that I do to connect to spirit, or to connect to my spirit guides, is through divination. When you are doing that, you're calling upon your spirit guides to guide you in whatever you're doing, whether you're doing it for yourself or for someone else. So any form of divination is, in a way, calling upon a spirit guide to guide your understanding of the messages that are being sent to you. So I will use a pendulum to connect with my spirit guide and to discuss things with my spirit guide. I will meditate very deeply. I try to do deep meditation, and I will use something like an incense to help shift my plane of consciousness. I use mugwort, other herbs that are associated with psychic ability and opening of the third eye. I do a lot of Om meditations. You can do binaural beat meditations, which help also in opening up that third eye channel and connecting you with the spirit world and your spirit guides in a far more profound way. Now, what I meant by, and let me clarify this statement here. What I meant by I've never had a very deep, profound spiritual experience in terms of, I did some meditation or something and I instantly felt myself transported onto another plane and here's this person there to guide me. I don't know the person's name. It's not like it's, I know people that say they know their spirit guides' names and that they have this deep, wonderful relationship with their spirit guides, and it's just never been that way with me. It's always been far more subtle. And at first I was disappointed because I thought maybe it was me, maybe I wasn't doing something right. But I realize now that it wasn't really me per se. That's just how I receive the messages. It's how my spirit guide or guides choose to communicate with me, is through far more subtle methods than what other people have experienced. So don't discount any little thing that you feel is a pull in the direction, because if you feel yourself being pulled in a direction or guided in some way, it is likely coming from your spirit guides. So again, going back to ways that you can connect by doing meditation, preferably on the daily basis if you can. For me, that's very difficult, but I do try. I haven't been able to meditate for several days now, and I can really feel it when I don't get to meditate. The frustration and the anger and the depression kind of builds up, and it becomes like a boiler. So getting into a deep meditative state, really allowing yourself to let go and to allow that spirit to flow through you is one really good way to connect with your spirit guides. Divination, as mentioned, is another. Seeking out help to meet your spirit guides may also be something that you want to consider. And there are people who are in the professional field that do guiding to the Akashic records and that kind of thing. I do know that one of my friends, I don't want to mention her name on video because I haven't gotten her permission to mention her name, but I'm sure many of you know her. She and I had a deep discussion a few weeks back because I was going through some real stuff, and I felt I needed to discuss some of it with her, and so I talked with her about it, and she told me that she had gone and had someone visit her Akashic records and figured out that there was some deep something going on with her that was kind of keeping her back, and once that was relieved, she said it's been the floodgates of happiness ever since. So I think that by reaching out to someone else, you're not admitting that you aren't doing something right, or that you're not weak, that you're weak, or that you're not, connected, or what have you. You are connected. We are all always connected to spirit and to our spirit guides. Just some of our experience with them are more subtle than with others. You may not ever have that deep, profound, oh my gosh, I met my spirit guide and it was great. And I've come to the conclusion that that's never going to be an experience I'm going to have. I have to accept my spirit guides in the manner in which they choose to appear to me, which would be in the manner of smaller signs and symbols. Seeing certain things, hearing certain songs at the right time. One of the things that I'd like to share that I feel was pulling me was, there was a time when I was still practicing Christianity that I think my spirit guides reached out to me, because it was really weird how this happened. I had received a CD from someone. I had a radio station. I had won something off the Catholic radio station. And they sent me this CD of this woman's music that I had never heard before. And I really liked her music. And I was going through a particularly difficult time with my husband at the time. And things were not going well. It was looking like we were going to divorce. And I was trying to come to grips with that and deal with that and figure out how I was going to manage that, because he handles all of the money. So I have no money. I have no way of being on my own at this point, even though the business is in my name and everything. He runs everything. And at the time, I don't think we even had the business, if I remember correctly. I hadn't actually started out on the business yet. I was just finishing up my CFY, my clinical fellowship year. But there was a song that came on, and it was called "Be Still, for I Am God." And it was like balm to my soul. I was in the kitchen sweeping the floor, and the CD ended, and this one song came on, and I was like, I started, the lyrics kind of seeped in, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. I don't know how that happened. And so I went to find out what the name of the CD was, because I thought that the last song was the last song on the CD, and sure enough, it was not listed on the CD case. It just happened to be an extra track that was dubbed on there, and they had left it off of all of the credits. So I ended up writing the woman and asking her, please, I need to know the name of that song. And she and I had a dialogue, and it ended up actually being much bigger help than I realized at the time, in terms of it allowed me to seek out some healing for myself and to forgive certain things with my husband and to move on from that situation. And so it was kind of interesting. So sometimes your spirit guides reach out to you and you don't even know it. And these spirit guides are, known by many different things. People call them angels. People call them spirit guides, animal guides. They could be in the form of an animal. Could be many different things. I believe that my guides appear to me in many different forms. I've even think that my spirit guides have spoken to me through other people at times, because other people have simply said things to me that just seem to fit at the moment what I needed to hear. So don't discount those experiences as being anything less than connecting with your spirit guides. I think that as you open yourself more to that and you really open yourself out, you don't try to force the relationship. And I think that's probably part of my issue, is that I really desperately want one of these deep, profound relationship experiences that I hear other people talk about because it seems so satisfying. And I feel a lacking need in my own life that I want to push it, push it, push it. And that's just not the way that my connection with spirit was meant to be. So don't discount anything when you're looking at connecting with your spirit guides. Sometimes those simple, subtle little things are the most profound and the most needed in your life at that moment. Just be open to what you see and what you hear, and allow the spirit messages to come to you, and they will. And there may be a deep, profound spiritual experience somewhere down the line, but that doesn't necessarily mean that spirit isn't connecting with you. So just be open to it. Seek out different methods. Look for others to guide you. Do some guided meditations. See what you can do to connect and allow yourself to be open to it. And I truly believe that when you do, you'll know. It will be there for you. So keep the faith. Keep plodding along. It's there, and it's waiting for you. Blessed be.